because all these other countries want the caliphate, Sharia law worldwide, but they couldn't personally introduce that as a country. Like, think about it. If Saudi Arabia said, we're going to implement Sharia law worldwide, and here's what we're going to do, we're going to go to war with everybody, that wouldn't work. But if you had a ragtag rebel, guerrilla warfare,
bunch of guys in pickup trucks, like a big old, just the barbarians at the gate.
Barbarians at the gates, chopping, lopping off heads, throwing them bones and money, throwing them all kinds of money, all kinds of trucks, all kinds of weapons. They'll do whatever you want. And they will wreak havoc and terror worldwide. Then you get France appeasing Muslims and Islam. You get all of Europe appeasing Islam. You get America appeasing Islam. Everybody is appeasing it. And then
and
it's
helping to spread it.
Right.
Helping to spread it.
However, if it was one country, or say 3 countries, say if it was Iran, North Korea, well, I don't think North Korea would be down with that, but it was Iran, the Ayatollah Khomeini, and Saudi Arabia joined forces and said, we're going to create the new caliphate worldwide. Okay, now we can declare war on those countries. But because they're funding ISIS on the back end, we can't declare war on. Well, we could, but we're not going to declare war on them.
Who's funding them on the back end?
Saudi Arabia.
But they're not going to declare war on ISIS.
No. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying America won't declare war on Saudi Arabia for funding ISIS.
Well, they wouldn't declare war on them anyway. But here's the problem with the caliphate. They have to pretty much defeat or eliminate the governments of each of those countries.
Right.
And then say, all right, we're part of this caliphate. We're the new Islamic State. We'll call it, Ottoman Empire.
Okay. Part 2.
Part 2. Ottoman Empire Part 2. So that being said, there's power. There's people in power in each of these places. You got Assad in Syria.
Right.
You got whoever's in Iran now. They're not going to be like, oh, hi, ISIS, you're coming to make a state over the top of my state, and I'm going to have to give up my power? Okay.
No, of course
I'll go
not.
home now.
Right, of course not.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
So, yeah, there's going to be some struggle there and probably some infighting and some civil war. And then you got Russia, who's going to prop up like Assad.
And Libya. Libya is now a completely bona fide third world, non-existent governmental country.
Which is why ISIS is going to do well there, because there's nothing that they're going to be battling against at all.
Well, thank you, Hilary Clinton, for that one. That was real nice of her.
Well, and
Make
people
space.
can blame George Bush for taking out Saddam Hussein,
Correct.
who would have been like another entity, another power
That
person.
would stop and say, no, ISIS, you can't come in. This is my country. I kill
and
you.
I'll murder all of y'all in the meantime.
Just like I did my people.
Right. And that's how he became powerful. He said, oh, okay, so I have some opposition here. I have some people that are enemies here that are trying to defeat me. I'll just go ahead and kill them all. And that's what he did.
Right.
He brought them all in and he killed them all.
Right. Well, that's what you just have to do sometimes.
Well, that's what Obama's going to do. What he's going to do is have this big meeting. This is exactly what Saddam did, by the way. He had this big meeting. He called them all in. He said, okay, I know you guys have had problems with me in the past. That's why I'm going to go ahead and kill you. And they locked the doors, and they were like, oh, my God! And then they killed him.
Right.
All of them.
Right.
And then he said, all right, let's start a new Saddam Hussein regime.
Correct.
And that was it. So what Obama's going to do, he's going to get all the senators. He's going to have a State of the Union address.
Woo!
It's going to be just like the Joker. He's going to put the mask on. Yes, he's going to put the mask on, and he's like, all y'all are out of here. And then gas is going to come, the green gas.
And he's the only one that lives, and he walks away.
Well, him and then the rest of
his regime.
industry.
Yeah. The people who are down with his fight.
Right. Which is pretty much all the communists.
So Rupert Murdoch came out on Twitter this week and warned the GOP. GOP, mad to think of expelling Trump or ganging up. Murdoch said Friday on Twitter, doing so would justify an independent run by Trump, damaging the party's chance to defeat likely Democrat nominee Hillary.
They know that. They can't do it.
old. Well, but the GOP is coming out. I got this on Chris Wallace Sunday morning. Trump sat down with I guess it was a recorded sit down, but he sat down with Trump and talked to him about two things. One, the GOP, and two, his statement about Muslims.
What do you think about my theory? And this can be supported by a lot of the primary cycles in the past. Okay, so Trump has got this huge commanding lead, and it's been pretty much steady for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody else is able to really make any headway. Okay? But all these things happening, there's a lot of movement. It's not much, but they're moving. Donald Trump has been staying pretty much even keel. Cruz has made a surge at one point. Carson's made a big surge. Who else is? Even Carly Fiorina at one point surged up.
She's
whole
fallen
time.
back.
Yeah, she had fallen way back since. But all these different people have made their own little independent surges. Excuse me. But Trump the whole time has been solid, rock solid. And really, nobody's ever been able to chip away at what he has.
Right. Well, and they even made fun of Cruz for not. I've got an SNL skit, SNL this week, last night.
Oh, yeah. I missed that one.
Oh, this is going to make you sick. They blew up with using Will Ferrell doing Bush, and then they did a make-believe Greta Van Susteren.
Oh, gosh.
Cracking on Greta. The character was making fun of Greta, who interviewed a fake Cruz, Carson, and Christie. All trying to destroy Trump. All of this is trying to destroy Trump. All of it. And the polls that came out Friday, according to Reuters on Friday, Trump has hit an all-time high with the largest lead ever.
Okay, so we need to tell our viewers, this is really important. Trump has the largest lead he's ever had. However,
by 23 points.
But this is very critical. His percent of the support among likely Republican voters has been completely flat the whole time.
However,
it's been solid.
They came out with a number that
hasn't
said,
gone up or down.
They said 74% of Republican voters believe. I'm not saying they support or they said agree or disagree, but they believe Trump will be the nominee.
Okay, here's where.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm going to throw this out. My conspiracy.
It's kind of a weird polly thing.
Not a conspiracy. My theory. Here's my theory. Okay, so we know he's not going to lose his 35%.
Probably not. I mean,
even if something happened to where the GOP was able to pull off a fast one and say, you know what? We're not going to even let you run as a Republican.
They're talking about that.
Well, let's say that happens.
Okay.
I think he keeps his 35%.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
So the rest of it. But that being said, what does he do? And is there anything he can do to get the 35% to go up? I think if Cruz and Carson both somehow dropped out, I do think that Trump's percentage goes up.
Sure.
But in the meantime, let's say they don't, and let's say we got Iowa comes up. There's going to be some losers in Iowa, some big losers.
Well, the Iowa poll coming out says that Cruz is dominating the thing in Iowa.
I thought it was Carson. Before it was Carson.
Right. No, Carson has slipped.
Okay.
Carson goes to the Middle East, comes back, and everybody forgot he was even in the race.
They were like, oh, you mean where'd you go?
SNL makes fun of that too.
Oh boy,
dude, they went off.
He should have
off
just
the rail.
did not. Anyway, so there's going to be some losers in Iowa, and then New Hampshire's right after it. It's like back to back, boom, boom.
Right.
Iowa, New Hampshire. Because I remember in the past, they're like, okay, thank you, Iowa, vote for us next November, and then they jump in a plane. Boom, they're in New Hampshire, and like within days, there's another vote. Okay, so it happens fast. Boom, boom. You got Iowa, New Hampshire. There's gonna be some winners, but more importantly, there's gonna be some losers.
Right.
By the time New Hampshire's done, there's gonna be some people that are gonna announce they're getting out. When that happens, where do their supporters go?
Oh.
They're going to start to consolidate.
Oh, yeah.
As they consolidate, there's going to be some establishment Republican. The early experts will tell you, the early expertise will tell you, Rubio, that's what the establishment, or maybe Mitt Romney. I don't know. Is he getting in?
He's going to make up his mind in the next couple of months.
Months? I was in January.
Couple days.
Anyway, so there's going to be a consolidation of voters who are going to start consolidating. People who wanted to vote for one guy is going to bow out.
Right.
That being said, who out of those people who are solid against Trump are going to say, well, my guy's out now, I guess I'm going to go to Trump. So as this goes on and on and on,
you start to consolidate the votes and the people.
And all of a sudden it becomes Trump 35 X, whoever it may be, candidate X 30, 32.
Right. So you got a neck and neck. Something's going on. It's going to happen. Right.
And I know that Trump's not going to drop his 35. That's going to be solid.
So
but he needs to go up. As these people drop out, you got a Christie drops out. How does Trump go to Christie voters and say, and I know it's only a couple hundred of them, but how does he go to them and say, all right, I know your guy's gone, but you're going to vote. You got to vote for somebody. Don't let it be Rubio. Don't let it be Jeb Bush. Don't let it be Barack Obama.
Right. No, I was going to say exactly that. They're going to just jump over to the Democrat Party.
Don't let it be Hillary
Clinton. Right. So the polling numbers that came out on Friday say that Trump stands at 35, Carson at 12, Cruz and Jeb share 10.
And I'm thinking people who are voting for Cruz, I'm starting to really believe this now.
This was conducted between
hardcore against Trump. Like, for instance, if Cruz were to drop out today, their last person left is Carson. And if Carson goes, those people
have to go Trump.
No, they'll say, I'm staying home.
Well, not if they listen to Smith Radio.
Because we know you are literally voting for Bernie Sanders.
Right. Bernie Sanders came out this week, said, I will win this all.
I got
He says he's going to win it all.
Well, hey, do not joke about that not happening.
Look what we got now.
I mean, wasn't it 2 episodes ago you had a Facebook post that said that in a head-to-head matchup, Trump loses to both Bernie Sanders and Clinton? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
It's completely.
Well, the new
unless
one,
they're factoring in all the fraud,
right? Well, the new one this week, head-to-head, Trump versus Hillary. Trump pulls out 45-40.
Well, I mean, at least it's not a loss.
All right. I'd rather have the 45 than the 40.
Right.
Margin of error 10.
Or more.
Depending on
plus or minus 99.
99 fraud.
Right.
Who knows?
It adds up to 101%. Did you hear about that? They added up all the votes, and it represented 103% of the constituents. Like, well, wait, what?
It's good times.
Mickey Mouse, Adolf Hitler.
Right. So, but here's another thing that we continue to talk about. But after this Muslim comment that Trump made last quarter, he spent $3 million.
Whoa, $3 million? Or was it rupees? Wait, what?
Whoa,
interesting.
There's a little symbol there.
Well, is it symbol or is it a dot?
I thought it was a dollar sign.
A dot that needs to be connected.
It's a dollar.
I want to know where that $3 million came, or 3 million rupees came from.
Well, apparently Trump spent $3 million rupees in this past quarter on his campaign to Hillary's 19 million.
Or is it 27,000?
Right. And they're saying that right after this whole Muslim issue debacle, 100,000 plus pour in to Trump's campaign, on average, $40.
Ooh, that's amazing. So the little guy, these are not big corporations. The little guy's like,
100,000 plus pour in right after the Muslim comment.
I'm thinking about sending $1 just to make a statement. I'll send $1 to all of what is it, Carson,